So I'll start this off with an apology. Um, Not really being up to date on things for the last couple of weeks. Um, it's weird because I'll go through stages where there we go, stupid hairs. Um, I'm like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this, and I realize that it's just those three things again and again and again and again. Um, until something happened the other day that just completely blew me away. Um, for those of you that live in the area, I know you're familiar with first Monday of the month, just before noon. Um, Tornado sirens go off. And I know I've talked about it before about people on the Ring app just being stupid or attention whores or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, it was 70 degrees or almost 70. And this person comes on the app and says, there's tornado sirens going off. It's really sunny outside. I'm confused. Does anybody know what's happening? 80% were first Monday of the month, first Monday of the month, first Monday of the month. The other 20% was what I was thinking and I was going to say, but I was like, they already started and they already did it. And it's just new to the neighborhood. It's like shake my damn head. There was just so many people going. And I thought, okay, if you don't know about Tornado Alley and you don't know that Missouri's at the very end of it, and if you've never been here before and you just moved in beginning of or middle of January, then okay. That's your free pass. That's all you get. But if none of those are true, then you're just stupid. And I was glad some people were calling them out. Some of them would go, same thing has been forever. It's a test to make sure that the tornado sirens still work that they do the first Monday at 11 o'clock. So it was a mix of you dumb shit, but I'll still answer your question. And it got me thinking to where, is this just some, I don't know, self-imposed epidemic that's going on to where we are just this stupid now? Because again, there's circumstances that can be fit in, and at least with the app, it just says neighbor. It doesn't say who it is. It'll give you a rough area of where they are, which is the only reason why I'm not showing it. Because I don't want that part to get out. I'll tell you guys whatever you want, but usually when it comes to keeping some things private, that's what I like to kind of do. Goes back to why I usually don't name names or specific places unless we're talking about specific things. But they'll give you some ability to be anonymous. And just sitting there thinking the mindset that you have to have of, oh my God, what's this tornadoes? Where are the tornadoes? Oh shit, what in the hell's going on? And then the rest of us, it's like when the tornadoes go off and it's not sunny, it's downpouring, there's some hail, you hear the tornado sirens go off. What every single one of us do, which in many cases is still stupid, but you walk outside and you look around and see if you can see it. Because those sirens don't necessarily go off in an area letting you know it could come near you. It's just there's one that's been spotted. Sound the alarms, because that shit can shift and go any which way. I just I had to start thinking that are we as a Western society just really that dumb now? And I think by and large we are. And it's hard to say what is responsible. Is it because you have access to so much information, you don't need to retain a damn thing because you could just grab your phone or the computer and look it up and your questions are answered? Or is it that the education system is being slowly dumbed down so that way it doesn't look like we're stupid, but we are? So then is that the educational program? Is it the educational system? Or is it teachers? Which way does this go? And I think by and large it's all three. I think the more we deny open information, because I remember when I was a kid and we were always told, you're never just going to have a calculator in your back pocket. Bitch, I do now. What? I do. But that doesn't mean that I still don't know my multiplication tables. And I've seen videos where kids have expressly stated, well, what if you don't memorize the multiplication tables because it's too hard? What? The easiest ones were the ones and tens. Then you just smush them down. I was beside myself. I'm like, how if math was bad when I was a kid, how did we make it worse? And then, that goes to, well, maybe the teachers are just bad, because I had, for the most part, almost all of my math teachers were fucking terrible. Especially the one in high school. I remember you, bitch. Your ignorant ass. Because my thing was in high school, and because I took pre-algebra in freshman year, took algebra 1 sophomore year, and took algebra 2 junior and senior year, and failed it both times because I didn't understand. And I remember one point to where she had explained it, and I put my hand on going, I don't understand. So she very calmly comes up, puts one hand on one side of the desk, one hand on the other side of the desk, and then leans in and does almost exactly this. I don't remember the words that she said. I just remember I wanted to fucking just throat punch her. Well, Mike, this is math. And when it's done like this, and you do this, then this, that's how this goes. And I remember saying, right, I understand the sentences that you said, but the context and the application of putting them in this area, I don't understand. She goes, I don't know what to tell you. I said, teach. And she just got a little chuckle, and off we went. And she was just an asshole. But that goes to show that and that's something that I learned to do anytime I was trying to teach someone else is you can't have learning isn't a train track. Learning is an open field. You still have to get from one side to the other, but one side could have fences. One side could have creeks, rivers, and rock beds. One side could be just a straight shot through it. Another portion could be a fucking road. Another one could be full of trees and shit, and you have just enough room to squeeze your vehicle through. But it's not a train track. There's not just one way. And I think that there needs to be some type of testing when it comes to teachers to go, okay, you have a lesson plan. And that lesson plan says that you need to teach them about fucking, I don't know, War of 1812. And you're trying to teach them something about it. You're trying to get this specific thing to stick. Teach me as if I were that classroom. If the teacher sits there and does the lesson plan scenario, and then they go, okay, there's 30 kids in the room. 7 of them didn't understand. And they're raising their hand to let you know that they didn't understand. And you ask, is anyone else? And there's 6 others that raise their hand. And so you have 23 that already know what the hell's going on. At that point, what you need to do is tell those 23, work through these for a couple minutes while I get these guys caught up to you. But I think what happens is they go, we'll talk later. And then either A, those kids don't show up, or B, it's end of the day and the teacher doesn't even want to fucking be there anymore. So just kind of speed run through it all. And I think that's where a problem lies, especially because I still think there are plenty of people that get into a career simply because they think this is easy. And essentially, once you become tenured as a teacher, you're pretty much set. You don't really have anything else to go through that says, well, you need to pay your dues, or you need to make sure that you understand how this goes. You go, no, the fuck I don't. I follow my lesson plans. That's what I do. Pew, off I go. And there's definitely times where, at least myself, I do have difficulty learning certain things. Because for me, in order to understand what you're telling me, I need to basically take all those information pieces, put it into my goddamn head, put it through a meat grinder, and then spit out what I think you're telling me. And if I can at least regurgitate 80% of it, then I usually understand what the hell's going on. But if I can't even start to crunch things together and see if I can't make sense of it, then I'm done. I can't. You have to find another way to tell me what the hell's going on. And I'm not a moron in most cases. But I think a lot of those things tend to just kind of slip through the cracks. And that's where I think a lot of that whole stupid No Child Left Behind bullshit happened. So I'm going, well, if the kid can't read and the kid can't write and they can barely do numbers, well, what are they good at? Because every kid, I don't give a shit who you are. Every kid has 1 to 2 subjects that are easy as piss to them because they understand that shit. There's sort of just a sponge that just absorbs everything that goes on and just put it into your head, and they're going, yeah, this is good. And then there's other subjects where it's a brick fucking wall you're trying to take down with a squirt gun. They're like, I don't know what you want me to do. None of this makes sense to me. So break it down into moron terms, and then let's build this back up so I can understand. when I went to college, I had an issue with stats. I'm going, a lot of this is just weird probabilities and numbers. And at one point, I think it finally kind of clicked, and I'm going, all right. Whew. Like, I felt like I came out of the trenches, man. And it was just, all right, we're good. I can roll with this now. But then it came to the class. Or no. No. Stats I didn't understand. Because there was a lot of formulas that you had to learn. And I'm going, well, at what point do I need to know this formula for what purpose? And they're like, just memorize them, man. That's what I was told the first 2 times that I took that class, because I took it 3 goddamn times. I was told, just memorize them. I'm going, but that's like saying, here's an entire cave of hieroglyphics. What I need you to do is go ahead and just draw all of those from memory. I don't work that way. And eventually what happened is I got to a point to where I was talking to a guy and those fucking formulas came up again. And I'm going, dude, look, I don't understand the purpose of these. He goes, that's probably where you've had problems the last 2 times you've taken this course. Because what you're trying to do is marry it together with something. I said, exactly. That's how I understand what this is for. So if I need to have this come up in a situation where dog bites cause skin cancer or whatever, and then this formula helps me figure out whether or not that's true, then I know, okay, I can do some applied stuff with this one. So this is the applied formula, and I label them myself. He goes, yeah, what you're asking for is not until the doctorate level. I'm going, well, I'm going for the bachelor level. Why the fuck am I dealing with something now that I'm not going to learn how it works for 2 levels? How much fucking sense does that make? If I'm not supposed to know how these 12 formulas, and I believe there were 12, fit into all of these research method things, then why the fuck am I not learning that once I got to the master level? And then the next level, you go into even more in depth on as far as why, and skip that out of the bachelor level. Makes no sense to me. And when I was told that, I ended up passing the class by 2 points. I think he needed 66. I had a 68. And then went to the next class, and that one was come up with a thesis, throw it into an internet search to see if there's anything else out there or if there's enough that could give you information to see if it's something that you could do. If not, go back to 1 and start over. And if so, continue on to number 4. 4 is come up with a real test that needs to be taken by 5 fake people, pretend people that don't actually take your test. And then 6, come up with real results that fake people took your real test. I'm like, can't I just say that they passed? He goes, what? I'm going, well, if I have some real shit and I need real results and pretend bitches are the things between that, can't I just say, yes, I was right? He goes, no, that's not how it works. Then that makes no sense. Why am I coming up with an actual test to test my hypothesis that no one is going to take, but I'm going to pretend that they did? I'm just going to say I'm right. We have to come up with proof. Proof? Pretend people took the fucking test. No one took the test. What the fuck do you mean I need to have proof? No one took the goddamn test. I'm going, this doesn't make sense to me. And it's that class and I think 2 more. Because I think I still needed a philosophy type class. And then there was a test. That was all that I needed. I had in my bachelor's. But I'm going, that was just a brick wall. That wasn't a hurdle or anything. Something that could be overcome. I'm going, this doesn't make sense. How are you supposed to come up with real shit that nobody took, and then tell the world how your test went that nobody took, but you have to pretend that they did? Successful, 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 successful. How successful? Yeah, my test was good. Can I just fucking move on now? And I guess it's that sort of abstract thinking that I'm going, this doesn't make sense how this is supposed to go on. And maybe that's part of my learning deficiency or something, is that in order for me to understand, I have to be able to reapply. And you're asking me to have set up an obstacle course and then have no one run that obstacle course, but have a best time for that obstacle course. So you have an obstacle course of 20 obstacles, high flying walls and zip lines and mud pits and swimming and crocodiles and shit. Like, oh my God, this seems kind of dangerous. What's the course record? 45 seconds. What? Oh yeah. It's 45 seconds. People swim with crocodiles and do the zip line and all this other shit in 45 seconds. You just got to be good, man. You got to be good. They're going, why isn't it like 2 minutes? Well, it's 45 seconds. Don't know what to tell you. That's the equivalent of it to me. And I was pretty much either scoffed at by being too stupid to know what was going on, or a little bit made fun of because I was too stupid to know what was going on. And I just kind of went, there has to be better ways to do things out there, man. There has to. And then I start thinking about all these kids that are going through college and shit now. And just thinking that, oh, I'm going to get a job doing this. You think you are. Because you want to definitely go for an industry that isn't going to go away. Once you start realizing certain places that you used to go when you were a kid are just disappearing off the map. I noticed this the other day. There used to be a Jack in the Box within like a 5-minute walk from here. It's been closed down for a while, and to be fair, that piece of shit needed to just be completely restaffed, because if you went there after midnight, you had a 30% chance that whatever the fuck you wanted to eat would actually be able to be made, and they would have it. Because I swear half the time they would just go, we're out of this, or we're out of chicken, we're out of fries. The shake machine's down. I was like, McDonald's? I didn't drive to McDonald's. And there's so many things that go on. And then you start to notice, well, where's the next closest one? Because there used to be one over there. Used to be one over there. There was one close by. There was one over there. Next closest one's like 6 miles away. And I don't know if it's one of those, it's 6 miles away because there's other places in between. Just like the closest Taco Bell to where I sit currently, about 5.5 miles away. And for myself, I'm going, but I actually like Taco Bell. Like, why isn't there one closer? And yeah, the landscape of your life tends to change depending on how you go. But the fact that so many things are just kind of falling out, leads me to believe that what is going on is fast food jobs used to be plentiful. A lot of kids coming out of high school or even in college, it was easy. You just pretty much become an automaton and you get paid. And then you have a pretty hefty laundry bill. But for the most part, they were all around. Well, if they're closing up shop and places are disappearing and there's less places to go, that means even the plentiful jobs are shrinking. Or at least their availability is shrinking. And that's kind of a scary thing to think about, especially as food becomes more and more expensive, like $9 for eggs. I'm not going to get into that. But you have all of these scenarios where how are things getting better? When it just seems like apparently my generation was the last one that went, we should be okay. Granted, I'm more here than I am up here with everybody else, but every other generation after that just is dropping. They're less and less okay. And that should be something that is kind of terrifying for all of us. Because it shouldn't be harder to live in the greatest country in the world. And yet it is. Because we stopped caring about one another and just kept chasing all the bullshit we were fed that said, this is what you do and you'll be okay. Because maybe 2 generations ago, that's what they did, and every generation before them did, and they all turned out fine. Well, then slowly, little by little, you're chipping all of that away. You're essentially getting rid of all the hard workers and the cornerstones of everything, because if you go back 6 damn years ago, there was essential workers. So if you had essential workers that still had to work through a pandemic and you realized what the essential jobs are and what the bullshit extra jobs are, why are we still leaning and giving in to the bullshit extra jobs and not the essentials? Because you have needs and you have luxury. But luxury rules it all. Needs doesn't matter for shit. So all your food workers don't get paid enough. I mean, the shit that you see in a grocery store, I would love to be able to walk around with a taser, just start tasing old ladies in the armpit because they're stealing food. Had a scenario a couple months ago. I don't remember who I was talking to. I was sending someone a message on Discord. It might have been Slew. I don't know. I was talking with someone, and I'm just slowly moving as I type, and I hear, "Excuse me." It wasn't, "I'm going to talk loud enough so you can hear me, excuse me." It's just sort of a sharp, curt, just, "Excuse me, you old bitch." I'm like, all right. So I walk forward a little bit, finish my message, hit send, and I hear some rattling, and I turn around and look. This old lady opened up a package of grapes and is just eating some. And I'm thinking, are you testing them to see if maybe these are a good bunch? Because I'll tell you, if you're smart, you'll realize you can have a bunch of grapes and 30 of them out of the 50 will be sweet, and the other 20 will be a mix between mushy and kind of gross and tart as hell. So just fisting these things into your dentured ass mouth isn't necessarily going to help you get to the point to where you just realized You stole from the grocery store. I wanted to go get security. Go, I got this old bitch over here eating your fucking grapes for free. Because grapes are done by the pound. So you reach in there and eat grapes. You just reduce the price of that because it should have been something else and you got to eat food for free. How is that not stealing? How are we not sitting there and beating the shit out of old people for this? Oh, they're old. They don't. Yes, the fuck they do know better. Do you know why they do it? Because they know they'll get away with it. Smack them in the face with a taser. They won't ever do it again. But that's where we've gotten is, on one hand, you're supposed to respect your elders. Well, okay, so if that's the case, and I go work somewhere, and everyone is younger than me, I should make the most. Because if you respect your elders, then I should be paid more. If I worked with everyone who was under 25, and I'm the only one that's like 20 years older, why don't I get paid like I've been working there for 20 damn years? Well, then where does the respect go? Because wouldn't I have more financial responsibilities than them? So why don't I get paid more? I mean, where are we drawing the lines here? You know, I don't think that there's a way that you can truly sit there and go, this is a definitive line and this is what it is. It's just like the saying, the customer is always right. Irritates the fuck out of me. I'm going, that's not the entire line. The customer is always right in matters of taste. Which just means if there is some gaudy ass clothes out there and you know they're gaudy as fuck, and it got to the point to where this customer goes, how does this look on me? They obviously want someone to tell them it's fantastic. But I would go, that's one of the most hideous things I've ever seen. And I wouldn't be allowed to say that, especially if I were an employee, because they obviously liked it enough to try it on to see how they liked it or how it looked on them. But because I think it's gaudy as shit, I'm not allowed to tell them that's fucking awful. Even with the little dangly thing on top of your fucking top hat. This is just horrible. You're not allowed to tell them that, because if they like it, leave them alone about it. Now, that's where that ends. So if they have that gaudy ass outfit with this giant spring and a fucking star that just bounces to either side of their head, and everybody knows that hat costs $50, and they get up to the register and it rings up $50 and they go, no, it's 20. Well, I found it over on a shelf and that shelf said 20. Well, there wasn't supposed to be there, so that's not a price we're going to honor. Well, the customer is always right. No, the fuck you ain't. No. And the small-minded, just asshole nature of that, where people have it in their head that they can say, well, that's the price where I found it. Going, no, because unless it's stocked there, and most of them now all have descriptions. So it may have been in a spot to where it says $50, but you found it in a spot that says 20, but the 20 is just a pack of 48 pencils. Someone just sat there like, oh, well, it's $20 then. No, you fucking idiot. That's not how this works. You know damn good and well that's not how it works, but you want to think that you're going to be cute and smart and see if you can just pull fast one. Just get it right over them. Fuck off. That oh my, That's why I don't have patience for a lot of stupid shit. Ignorance is fine because that's a word that's gone off the fucking deep end whenever it comes to being used. But ignorance just means lack of knowledge, not dumbass. Because you could be ignorant to something, like I was ignorant to understand how fake people are supposed to take a real test and I get real results from it. That doesn't make sense to me. That was me being ignorant to how that worked. To this day, I still don't fucking get it. But that's me being ignorant to that. You can be ignorant whenever another language is being spoken and you don't have a single clue what any word is. Not a clue. That's you being ignorant to what's being said. That doesn't mean you're stupid, just you don't know. And being ignorant is completely okay. But we turn that shit around and ignorant goes under the same thing as rude. No. Or ignorant goes under the same thing as stupid. No. That's not how this goes. That's not how this works. No. You have to understand that you have to have a universal set of meanings for words and not just, well, I can use literally as figuratively. No, you can't, because they don't coincide like that. Literally means factual. That's what that is. This is literally a phone. Not, this is literally a duck. No. It's not even figuratively a duck. I can't make any of this thing move to where I can even remotely make it look like a duck is talking. Not how this works. Universal signs for words and universal meanings for words need to still remain universal. That prevents confusion. That prevents misunderstanding. Not, let's go ahead and keep doing all of this shit this way because it'll be all right. No. Keep it on point and help people get to that point from different angles, not let them use different words to say that that point now means the same thing. No, it doesn't. Like, another example. When I was, again, going through college, having a course about human sexuality. And I want to say it was like 25 people in this class. There was a point in time where about 10 of those 25, and I'm going to use literally because that's what the fuck it was, literally were saying just the tip doesn't count. Yes, it does. Well, I say it doesn't. Doesn't matter. It does. And this was what I brought up. I said, okay, let's go ahead and draw up a scenario, okay? You're with your boyfriend. He's just wanting something extra. You're not wanting to go all the way. And he's like, just let me feel it a little bit. Let me just put it into it. Be like, okay, that's fine. Let's just say he's extra sensitive and fires a shot into you. You're pregnant. Are you going to start telling everybody that you are about to birth Jesus because there was no father, because there was no sex? The entire medical world will go, that's not possible. And you would eventually have to break it down to where you would say, he entered me, but only about that much. And it was just enough for him to just, pew. Now you're pregnant. So you're going to try and tell everyone that you didn't have sex, but they're going, but you're growing a baby. That's how you get baby, is sex. So that's where this whole thing needs to be adjusted to where, did you go through with the entire act? Yeah. Did you have as much experience as you had heard about with that act? No. But that doesn't dismiss it that act didn't happen. Because we can let people have 5 different meanings for one word or one scenario needs to end. I think that is another thing that's causing a lot of this, because then someone will go, well, I like kind of that idea, but not the whole thing. I think I like this part of it, or I think I like that part of it. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to start formulating all this shit. You already do that on your own. It's called your personality. But having this footprint of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish be made up of all of these things that you just said, this is okay and this is what's going on, leads us to a spot to where there's a fairly large group of women that if you don't make 6 figures, have a 6-pack, be 6 foot tall, and pack at least 6 inches, you ain't shit. Well, you need a reality check, because, all right, let's see. How many people in the world are over 6 foot tall? The number of people in the world who are over 6 feet tall is difficult to determine, but in the United States, about 14.5% of men are 6 feet or taller, and about 1% of women in the United States are 6 feet or taller. Well, I'm part of that 14.5%. I'm 6'4". And if you have this large group of women that want someone 6 foot, I'm like, okay, you have 14.5% to work with. But do they have all the other shit? Probably not. So you're probably going to fight over the same 7 dudes. And they're not going to give a shit. They're like, look at all these women that are lining up. Why would I commit to any single one of you on your own? You create this sort of narrative for yourself that says, this is what the hell's going on. This is where I am. This is what is okay, and this isn't. It still needs to fall under the premise of these are factual things, and you can have preferences. But what I described about the 4 6s, those aren't preferences, those are requirements. Need to be at least 6, because I need to feel safe. Okay. Let me throw you a little scenario. Shaquille O'Neal, 7'2". How tall is Kimbo Slice? Oh, I'm sorry. How tall was Kimbo Slice? 6'2". Just make sure I'm right. Shaq's 7'1". Kimbo Slice was a professional fighter. So if you say protection is in height, what you don't understand is most guys that are tall also move slow, because you have to take this long limb and bring it into a point. But what I'm getting at is most of your UFC MMA fighters are shorter dudes. Arguably, one of the best fighters in the world was 5'8". Average height for a guy in the United States is 5'9". 5'8". Bruce Lee was 5'8", and he would fuck you up. because you don't need height. It's just some dumb shit that got put in there that said this is how it has to be. So, what's the overall premise of this video, man? Help me combat stupid. I mean, that's really all it boils down to. Help me combat stupid. There's another point I would like to make, but I think I'm going to do that on a different video because I am curious, and I only have a little bit of data on it, so I need a little bit more data. But I'm curious about something, and I think that leads into this. When I get more information on it, I will make a video on it. But suffice to say, and I know it's probably going to sound bad the way that I say this, but it's going to be about kids. I just there's some things that I've recently started paying attention to. That I'm just going, that seems off. Doesn't seem like it should be that way, but it is what it is. Anyway, sorry that it took me so long to get this out. At least it's still going to be on the same day, just not my usual 10 o'clock time. I'm going to try to get better at that. Hope you all are doing well. Be safe. And as always, I love your comments. Throw them in there. I mean, it's civil discourse. That's pretty much the premise of this entire thing. So y'all stay safe. Hopefully winter's getting the fuck out of here, because the fact that it was 72 and it's high 50s right now, I'm going to go play outside for a little bit. Take care.